What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and I wanted to show you guys how well Jean Grey can actually do in her Marvel Go uniform. And the reason for this is because she is a universal superhero in this uniform, and I can tell you guys it actually can be fairly useful, at least for some players out there, depending on where you're at in the game. And we'll get to that here in a second. Now, a big difference between this uniform and the new Dark Phoenix uniform is one, it is a superhero uniform, but also the fact that, it doesn't have as high as decreased damage received. This is at 30%, whereas the Dark Phoenix is actually at 40%. So you have a little extra survivability, a little bit extra tankiness from the Dark Phoenix uniform. And also the heal on the Marvel Girl uniform is recovery amount increases by 4% per 1%, right? Whereas in the Dark Phoenix uniform, it's by 6% per 1%. So you get a much better heal in the Dark Phoenix uniform. You have a little bit higher decreased damage received, but this version of Jean Grey can actually still get it done if you have a fairly developed account and if you actually need it. Now, I'm actually going to be running the Brilliant on her. A little tidbit of information, guys, about the Brilliant judgment on Jean Grey, even in her Dark Phoenix uniform. In ABL, it's trash. It is not worth a crap. The Rage actually does better. Just a regular Rage will actually perform better than a Brilliant judgment, guys. I tried it over and over and over in her Dark Phoenix uniform, and the Rage just does better. So once I get done using this Brilliant CTP of Judgment, which I actually need right now, considering I'm going to be using this uniform and pushing Ultron, then I'm going to put a Rage back on her because, again, it's just better for ABL and ABX. And there aren't a lot of requirements where you actually need a mutant character in World Boss Legends, so that's another reason I'll be taking it off. Now, this particular Brilliant CTP of Judgment probably isn't the best for World Boss Legend content because you're just increasing your attack. We got increased attack by 28%, and the max is actually up to 32%. But if we had this increased additional damage, skill damage by 70%, increased additional damage, type skill damage by 100%, I believe that would be a lot better for World Boss Legend content. However, when it comes to Brilliant CTPs, as many of you already know, you have to use other CTPs to change the stats. And I'm not doing that, guys. It's way too damn expensive. I'm just not doing it, and you never know what you're going to get. So I don't really want to risk it. I actually do have a 200% proc instead of a 240. And something to keep in mind, guys, is that the judgment increases all elemental damage by, a certain percentage, right? This is actually increasing it by 200%. And a lot of players have given a lot of feedback, players that's pushed very, very high in World Boss Legend that, the cap for elemental damage is 255%. So if you have 200%, and luckily Marvel Girl uniform doesn't have any buffs in her kits where it increases her mind damage per se. Really, there's nothing that really increases her mind damage. I mean, she's got attack buffs and so on, but nothing that's actually, increasing mind damage by 20% or 30% or anything like that. She doesn't have anything like that in her kit. So having a 200% proc on her, along with Storm in her paywall uniform, that gives another 55% elemental damage, is 255% in total. So I don't think we could really increase her actual elemental damage and actually benefit from it, at least from the feedback that I've gotten. But yeah, I was really, really disappointed that the Brilliant didn't perform well at all in ABL, even with the Dark Phoenix uniform. It was okay, guys, but the Rage again is better. Another difference between this uniform and the Dark Phoenix uniform is in the Dark Phoenix uniform, you have two skills that you delay cancel, whereas in this uniform, you do have, you actually have two delay skills that you cancel as well. But the fourth skill shoots a beam out, whereas the fourth skill in the Dark Phoenix uniform, you just cancel immediately. And the reason that this uniform is actually still pretty damn good, again, depending on where you're at in the game, is against Ultron. Against Ultron, against stage 45, you need a mutant superhero, right? So for 45 to 49, you're going to need that mutant superhero. And Jean Grey actually fits that build, right? You're going to use a superhero uniform in order to do it, but she can do it. Now, if you guys don't have Storm here, you can always put Cyclops. If you have Cyclops in his uniform, you get an extra 40% energy attack from his passive here, which actually helps. Now, the only other character that was able to do this before was Storm. But like I said in a previous video, if you don't have Storm at tier 4, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to keep her alive against Ultron. Man, she will die very, very easy without that tier 4. She needs all that extra HP. And I know a lot of players don't have the paywall uniform. Maybe they were free to play. And this might be an option for you guys if you get your account fairly developed, right? You could use the Marvel Girl uniform instead for Jean Grey, because Jean Grey's got a lot of utility, right? She's super strong in PvP. She's good. She's, a meta in ABL and ABX. So she does have a lot of usefulness for a lot of players out there. And if you already have this uniform, which a lot of players already do, then it might prove to be useful for this. A lot of people were able to get Polaris. They were able to level her up free to play, through the future pass. So that's actually really good as well. And something to note, guys, is that I don't have Jean Grey's artifact. And in the event shop, I'm actually working on trying to get this damn thing. And I get off this crap, right? Where I'm actually working on trying to get the artifact because we can get it from here, which is awesome. And this is actually a 4-star artifact. It's actually going to increase their damage to superheroes and supervillains by 14%, right? So the time that you guys are going to see me be able to do this clear in against stage 45 Ultron, she really, I don't even think needs the brilliant CTP of Judgment, right? I do have 22% Pierce. I do have a 20% energy attack, but I believe with the Mighty Judgment, she could do this. And even with the Rage guys, I was able to, get down to within 5 bars with this uniform against stage 45 Ultron. So we'll check the run out for you guys right now. All right, we'll check the run out for you guys. Check the run out and show you guys, how well she did and how fast she actually was able to do this with a brilliant judgment. And like I said, guys, I just left the brilliant on because one, I just have it and wanted to see how it would perform on her, right? Now, you notice what I did there is I did the 3, I delayed it, and then I hit the second skill. The reason I did the second skill before the 5 and the 4 is I wanted to get my tier 4 up. You really want to try to get that accumulation if you are trying to use that tier 4. And I do think, guys, that Jean Grey is a worthy tier 4 for a lot of players out there. I really do, because she really does have a lot of versatility in the way that you can build her and how useful she actually is in the game. I know she's expensive, right? I know a lot of players, aren't going to be able to level her up. And I mean, I know that sucks. But she really is a useful character to have, guys. And the fact that she builds up her tier 4 so fast is awesome. Now, you'll notice that she's not doing a tremendous amount of damage when she doesn't do her tier 3. The tier 3 is really where the damage is at. And if you have that accumulation up from the tier 4, while you do the tier 3, and then you have the residual damage from the 5th skill and the attack burst from the 5th skill, along with the residual damage from the 3rd skill, she does really, really good damage here. It's actually pretty awesome. All right? And there you saw me just go ahead and hit the tier 3 because, again, that thing just does a lot more damage than that 4th skill ever could. I'll hit the 5, delay it, make sure the ball shows up on top, and then go into the 4th skill, right? And she does pretty well. Again, guys, I don't think you really need a brilliant if you have a fairly developed account. And again, actually, I think you could do this with a Rage with a fairly developed account, and you can mix up Storm and switch her for Cyclops. Even if you have the older Cyclops uniform with 30% increased physical attack or energy attack, I think that would probably still be enough, especially if you get the artifact from the event. Getting an extra 14% damage to supervillains or superheroes really, really would help. And I'm just trying to make Jean as strong as I can, and that will help for sure. But, I always know one thing about facing Ultrons, just like Surtur, he's always moving around all over the damn place. So a lot of times you can't go into your skills. He's canceling them. It's really, really, really annoying. But the fact that she can move around that 4th skill in this uniform is actually really, really nice. It aids in her survivability because, say, Ultron goes in these little phases where he's throwing out these little attacks at you, you can easily move around and get out of danger, which is actually really, really nice. Now, I'm using Polaris here because she does have a nice iframe on that 5th skill, and that helps out a lot, right? Then Ultron doesn't really want to go into his phases. There we go. And that's kind of key whenever you're doing this, is you're really trying to go as fast as possible, get Ultron out of them phases as fast as possible. It does suck that her 3rd skill also is on such a long cooldown, but even though her survivability isn't as good in this uniform as it is in the Dark Phoenix uniform, she still has insane survivability. She still does really well. You still have the revive. Like, Jean's still pretty awesome in this uniform, guys. I mean, she's not going to have near the damage that she does in Dark Phoenix, obviously, but she is still pretty damn sweet. And there you saw me hit the 3, the 5, the 2, or 3, the 2, the 3, 5, and the 4. So that way I get that tier 4 up. I do that a lot whenever I'm playing with her because I always want to try to get that tier 4 up as much as possible. Now there I didn't even have my attack buff from the 5th skill, but we were down to like the 8th bar where Ultron actually becomes invincible. I really shouldn't even hit that tier 3, but I got a little overzealous, just wanted to go ahead and hit that baby. Now her movement speed isn't the greatest. It's not bad, but it really could be a little bit better. I mean, really, Jean should be a little bit faster. And yeah, you know, we took a shot there, but no big deal, no big deal. Again, we got really good survivability. Nice. All right, we're gonna switch. Now, Polaris actually does have some fairly good movement speed, so we can actually get out of danger quite quick, which is nice. Okay, we're gonna run around. And we're gonna use that fist skill again from Polaris. Boom. And that thing hits immediately, breaks Ultron right out of his phase, and then we can get to it. And once I use that tier 3, I do like to use that force skill afterwards if I can. I'm really pouring it on, guys. Really trying to get as much damage as possible here. But unfortunately, we're in another phase. Right, we got 50 seconds left. And it works out really good using Polaris here, using her fifth skill like that over and over and over. It works out really, really nicely. Look at that. Right? She hits so fast that the spears didn't even hit her, right? And boom, you know, 34 seconds left to spare. We were able to do stage 45 Ultra. Now, granted, it's going to get more difficult as we go to 49, but considering that she did that with over 30 seconds to spare is actually, it's pretty awesome, guys. And it shows you that she could do this with a mighty judgment. I don't think she really, and really, if you had a fully developed account, even with a rage, she probably would be able to do this. And again, if you don't have Storm, you could just put Cyclops in there instead. So I'm pretty impressed with Jean, you know, in this uniform. And something else I want to note, guys, is one, I don't have the artifact on this uniform, and the uniform is at heroic, right? We still can gain higher stats from this thing, have more damage once I level this thing up. I'm just conserving on my feathers because of tier 3 magic that's going to be coming very, very soon. So guys, let me know what you think about Jean Grey actually getting it done against stage 45 Ultron. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.